Before we get into it, let me show you some of the reviews people have left for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 on Amazon, because sometimes buyers just get it. 5 stars. Quote, open this thing in a meeting and my boss stopped mid-sentence. Got a promotion 2 days later. Coincidence? Absolutely not. Okay. 5 stars. Quote, my phone is now bigger than my iPad, my dignity, and my monthly car payment. Worth it. Valid. 1 stars. Quote, 1 star. I folded it wrong on day one and spent 45 minutes convinced I'd broken a $1,800 phone. I am not smart. Fair enough. 5 stars. Quote, I use this exclusively to watch movies in bed while holding it 6 inches from my face like a little personal IMAX. My optometrist is concerned. 2 stars. Quote, 2 stars. My husband saw me unfold it and immediately wanted one. This phone has cost me $3,600. Noted. 5 stars. Quote, it folds, it unfolds, it folds again. I haven't downloaded a single app. I've been doing this for 3 hours. Respect. Alright, let's actually get into the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 review. Here's something nobody told you about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Folding phones have been around for years now, and Samsung has finally made one that doesn't feel like a compromise. That's a bigger deal than it sounds, and today we're getting into every detail you actually care about. If you want the short version, here it is. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is the best foldable Samsung has ever made. The hinge is smoother, the outer screen is wider and actually usable without unfolding, and the whole thing feels more refined than its predecessors. It's genuinely a two-in-one device that works rather than a novelty that just looks cool on a shelf. If you're already in the Samsung ecosystem and you want something that replaces both your phone and your tablet, this is the one to get. But there are a couple of real-world trade-offs worth knowing before you pull the trigger, so stick around because the cons section alone might save you a headache. Opening the box, the first thing you notice is how slim the packaging is. Samsung has been going minimal for a while now, and this continues that trend. Inside, you get the phone itself, a USB-C cable, a SIM ejector tool, and some paperwork. No charger in the box, which, at this price point, still stings a little even if we've all accepted it by now. Picking up the device, the build quality is immediately impressive. The frame is aerospace-grade aluminum and it feels solid without being brutally heavy. The cover glass on both screens is Corning's latest Gorilla Glass armor, and the crease down the middle of the inner display, the thing that used to be the first thing critics pointed out, is noticeably reduced compared to previous generations. It's still there if you're looking for it, but in normal use it genuinely fades into the background. The hinge mechanism deserves its own moment. It's satisfying to open and close. It snaps shut with a confidence that the earlier Fold models never quite had. First impressions overall are strong. This feels like a premium flagship, not a beta product. Let's talk specs, but only the ones that actually change how the phone feels in your hands. Starting with the processor, the Fold 7 is running the latest Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. In plain English, this is the fastest mobile processor available right now. Apps open instantly, multitasking is seamless, and there is no situation in daily use where this phone feels slow. The inner display is 7.9 inches when fully unfolded, with a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. That means scrolling and animations are buttery smooth, and it adjusts automatically to save battery when you're reading something static. The outer cover screen is 6.5 inches. That's a meaningful upgrade over older Fold models, and it means you can use this phone folded closed like a normal smartphone without feeling like you're squinting at a postage stamp. RAM comes in at 12 gigabytes, which is more than enough for keeping multiple apps running simultaneously in split screen mode, which is honestly where this phone lives its best life. Battery is 4,400 milliamp hours. We will dig into real-world battery life in a moment, but the number itself sits in a reasonable range for a device this thin. Storage options start at 256 gigabytes and go up to 1 terabyte. No micro SD slots, so pick your storage tier carefully up front. Finally, the camera system. Triple rear cameras with a 200 megapixel main sensor, a 10x optical zoom periscope lens, and an ultra-wide. The under-display front camera on the inner screen has also improved in quality this generation, which matters if you use the big screen for video calls. Day to day, this phone is a joy to use. Switching between the cover screen and the inner display happens automatically when you open and close the phone, and the transition is faster and smoother than it's ever been. There's a brief, satisfying animation and you're right back where you were. No fumbling, no jarring restart of whatever you were doing. Multitasking on the large inner screen is where the Fold 7 genuinely earns its price. Running a YouTube video on one half while taking notes on the other, or having a browser and a messaging app side by side, it works the way it's supposed to. Samsung's software for managing split screen has matured a lot and the learning curve is minimal. Gaming performance is excellent. The Snapdragon 8 Elite handles everything in the Play Store without breaking a sweat, and the larger screen gives you a real advantage in games that benefit from more visual real estate. Battery life in real use lands around a full day of moderate to heavy use. Power users pushing the big screen hard all day might find themselves reaching for the charger before bedtime. It supports 25-watt wired charging and 15-watt wireless, which are both fine but not class-leading speeds. One quirk worth noting, the phone does get warm during extended gaming sessions or prolonged video recording, though it never throttles to the point of causing frustration. The first major strength is that outer cover screen. At 6.5 inches, it's wide enough and tall enough to function as a standalone flagship phone. You genuinely don't need to unfold this device for most of your day. Checking messages, scrolling social media, making calls, navigating, all of that works perfectly on the cover screen. That's a huge shift from earlier Fold generations where the outer screen felt like an afterthought. Second standout is the multitasking software experience. Samsung has built a desktop-like taskbar into the interface, and it integrates naturally with the wide inner display. You can drag and drop content between apps, pop apps into floating windows, and build custom app pairings that launch together with a single tap. For anyone who uses their phone for productivity, emails, documents, presentations, this genuinely changes how much you can get done on a single device. Third pro is the camera system, specifically the 10x periscope zoom. Getting sharp, detailed shots at that zoom level from a phone this thin is genuinely impressive. Portrait photos on the large inner screen using the rear cameras look stunning, and the 200-megapixel main sensor captures an enormous amount of detail in good lighting. It's a top-tier camera package sitting inside a foldable form factor, which used to be a contradiction. The first real con is app optimization. Despite years of foldable phones existing, there are still popular apps that don't fully take advantage of the large inner display. Some apps stretch awkwardly, display oversized UI elements, or simply default to a phone-sized layout with black bars on the sides. It's improving, but it's not fixed, and if several of your most used apps fall into this category, it will bother you regularly. The second con is the S Pen situation. Previous Fold models had an optional S Pen that could be stored inside a separate case. The Fold 7 continues to exclude built-in S Pen storage, and Samsung has quietly de-emphasized S Pen support for the Fold lineup overall. If you are hoping for a large-screen note-taking experience with a stylus, this is genuinely a missing feature that matters. Third con is durability anxiety. Samsung has improved the hinge rating, and the Fold 7 carries an IPX8 water resistance rating, which is legitimately good progress. However, the inner display still uses a plastic polymer layer that scratches more easily than glass. You need to be deliberate about not using sharp objects or fingernails on that screen. It sounds simple, but over months of daily use, minor surface marks do accumulate, and that's just the reality of current foldable display technology. Real buyers have been chiming in, and the feedback is pretty telling. One reviewer wrote, "I've explained to my wife 3 times why this cost more than our first car. She remains unconvinced. The phone, however, is incredible." Another buyer said, "The hinge is so satisfying to snap shut that I've started ending arguments by dramatically closing this phone. Best purchase of the year." On a more practical note, one customer left this: "I was skeptical about using the big screen for video calls, but my team on Zoom can now actually see my entire face instead of a forehead. Genuinely improved my professional life in a way I did not expect." The broader pattern across buyer sentiment is that people who commit to using this phone the way it's designed, leaning into the split screen, the large display, the multitasking, come away as genuine converts. The people who treat it like a regular phone and never open it tend to wonder what the fuss was about. This phone rewards engagement with its unique features. Here's where we land. Buy the Galaxy Z Fold 7 if you want a device that genuinely replaces both your phone and your tablet. You work on your phone and care about multitasking, or you just want the most technically impressive Android device on the market right now. It delivers on all of those fronts. Skip it if you rely heavily on S Pen. Most of your daily apps are poorly optimized for large displays, or you need all-day battery life without any top-up. There are excellent traditional flagship alternatives that might suit you better and cost less. For anyone on the fence, this is Samsung's most complete foldable yet. The gap between foldables and traditional phones has narrowed considerably with this generation. Drop a comment below. Are you picking up the Fold 7 or sitting this one out? I read every single reply. If this review saved you time or helped you decide, hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel. And subscribe for a new honest review every single week. See you in the next one.